In our modern world of spiritual searching, one man has quietly built a huge following of ancient wisdom that reaches over 1 million people. Yet he stays as mysterious as the secrets he teaches. He has never shown his face or shared his background. No traditional training, only words that cut through everyday thinking and wake up what we've forgotten inside ourselves. So who is the person behind Revival of Wisdom, and what sacred knowledge has he put together from the forgotten halls of ancient teaching? Welcome to the Wisdom Alchemist, a place for seekers, thinkers, and anyone ready to discover deeper truths. Today we're going to talk about Harry B. Joseph, a modern mystery teacher and the person behind something called Ethereal University. But this isn't just another story about a spiritual teacher online. This is about someone who studies the mind and says he found a universal language, one that connects Christianity, Islam, ancient Egyptian teachings, and the biggest mysteries of being human. So here's our main question. Is Harry B. Joseph a real wisdom keeper, or just another person trying to make money in the spiritual world? And maybe the bigger question is this: does it even matter if what he teaches actually helps people grow? Harry B. Joseph built his work around something he calls the universal language theory. The idea is simple. All spiritual paths are saying the same basic truth, just using different symbols and stories. This isn't about mixing religions just to mix them. It's about something much older. The belief that divine truth is too big to fit inside one tradition, but can shine through many real spiritual paths. In Joseph's view, the story of Christ is more than history. It becomes a picture of sacred energy, what he calls the Christ oil, moving through the energy centers of the body. The Bible's stories turn from events in the past into living processes happening inside our own bodies and spirits. The old saying, "as above, so below," becomes a bridge that connects Egyptian wisdom, Jewish mystical teachings, and Christian secrets into one connected system. Sacred shapes and patterns show up as a kind of divine code, the math behind holy buildings and sacred writings. So what if every religion is just a different lens, each one focusing the same light of the divine? Here's maybe the most interesting thing about Joseph's work. Nobody knows who he is. There are no photos of him. He's never appeared in videos. We don't know anything about his personal life. Most spiritual teachers today love being famous. They want everyone to know their face and their story. But Joseph chose to stay completely hidden. This wasn't an accident. This is just like the wise teachers from long ago in Egypt and Greece. Back then, what mattered was the lesson, not the person teaching it. These old mystery schools knew something important. When people care more about the teacher than what they're learning, the real message gets lost. By staying hidden, Joseph shows us something powerful. Sometimes the best teachers are the ones who step out of the way so we can focus on the truth they're sharing. This challenges something we see a lot today. Many people treat spiritual teachers like celebrities or superheroes. They worship the person instead of learning from their ideas. But this also makes things tricky. Today, there are lots of fake spiritual teachers who just want money or fame. So how do we know if someone is sharing real wisdom when we can't even see their face? Here's something interesting. Throughout history, the best teachers were often the ones who disappeared into their own teachings. Joseph wrote his wisdom in 3 books that work together. They show how spiritual growth and taking care of your body are connected. The first book is called The Book of Wisdom. It's over 300 pages long and comes in 2 parts. It talks about secret spiritual knowledge in a step-by-step way. In this book, Joseph explains the Christ oil teachings, how spiritual processes in our bodies mirror the journey of awareness through our energy system. He teaches what he calls mind mechanics, a system for creating your reality by mastering your thoughts. He shows how Christianity, Islam, ancient Egyptian teachings, and mystical traditions all have the same foundation. The second part of the Book of Wisdom goes even deeper into ancient symbols and hidden meanings. Joseph talks about the difference between spirit and matter, basically the invisible world versus the physical world we can touch. He explains ancient symbols like Baphomet and Osiris, and something called the Tree of Life from Jewish mysticism. All of this gives readers practical ways to raise their awareness and discover who they really are. It's like a guidebook for people who want to use ancient wisdom in their everyday modern lives and start their own journey of interchange. But Joseph understood something that many spiritual teachers miss. Our body is like a temple, and a dirty temple can't hold divine awareness. This understanding led him to write his third book, Human Health Guide 2.0. In this book, eating healthy becomes a spiritual practice. He tells us which foods, oils, nuts, fruits, vegetables, grains, and mushrooms to avoid or eat. This changes from just diet advice into taking care of your temple. Our physical body becomes the foundation we need for spiritual growth. Smart shopping becomes mindful choosing. Each choice either helps or hurts our spiritual development. Real spiritual masters have always taught that the body is the temple, and a dirty temple can't house divine awareness. Joseph created something called Ethereal University. It's like bringing back the ancient Egyptian and Greek mystery schools, but online. The structure is just like the old schools. Basic teachings for everyone, deeper teachings for those who are ready for more. His system for understanding awareness connects modern brain science with ancient teachings about spiritual growth. He shows how brain chemistry and spiritual awakening work together as a practical tool. But here's a problem. How do you make money from spiritual knowledge? Ancient wisdom was traditionally given for free, passed from teacher to student directly. Joseph has to deal with the modern reality of needing to make money from spiritual knowledge while keeping its power to transform people. Every spiritual teacher throughout history has faced the same choice: stay pure but reach only a few people, or adapt to modern times but risk making the teachings weaker. We need to talk about something that might be a problem with Joseph's work. He has no traditional spiritual training, academic background, or personal history we can check. No lineage, no certification, no school validation. In our world, spiritual authority often comes from degrees, titles, or recognized training. Joseph works purely on whether his teachings actually work and make sense to people. His authority comes from the results people get, not from any institution saying he's qualified. This creates a tricky situation for modern seekers. How do we know if wisdom is real or just fancy packaging when we have no outside proof that someone knows what they're talking about? The fact that over 1 million people follow his teachings shows something deep about what we're all hungry for. We're willing to follow teachings that feel true in our hearts, no matter where they come from. But this same hunger makes us open to spiritual lies. In the spiritual marketplace, the most dangerous teachers are often the ones who sound the most real. But here's the scary question that every seeker in the digital age faces. We have a completely anonymous person with no checkable background, no academic training, no traditional spiritual education, yet over 1 million people follow his teachings. Are we seeing ancient wisdom become available to everyone, or the most clever spiritual trick ever created? And perhaps more disturbing, in our hunger for spiritual growth, have we become unable to tell the difference between real teaching and really good copying? The mirror is turning toward us now. The deeper mystery remains. If Joseph is right that all spiritual traditions are speaking the same basic truth, then what is that truth? What is the one reality that Christianity calls Christ awareness, that Hinduism calls the true self, that ancient Egyptian teachings call the philosopher's stone? And if this universal wisdom can be taught through anonymous digital teaching and absorbed by millions without ever seeing the teacher's face, what does this tell us about spiritual authority itself? Are we witnessing the birth of a new form of mystical teaching, or the ultimate test of wisdom for the modern seeker? Maybe Harry B. Joseph's greatest teaching isn't found in his books or courses, but in the mirror he holds up to our own spiritual seeking, faceless, without boundaries, reflecting only what we bring to it. The faceless teacher forces us to face our own inner authority. In an age of spiritual anonymity, the question becomes not who is teaching us, but what inside us recognizes truth when it appears. Thank you for joining me here on The Wisdom Alchemist as we explored the deeper layers of Harry B. Joseph. This is just the beginning. There's still more to uncover in the chapters ahead. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this journey. We're just scratching the surface of truths that live deep within you. Together, let's continue to unlock the knowledge that awakens the soul and lights the inner path.